Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shamans Cave. I'm Renee Baribeau,
And I'm Sandra Ingerman.
and we're here today to continue our conversation about the elements.
Yeah, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about water. And of course, it's always interesting for me to talk about water because I live in Santa Fe, which is the high desert. So we don't get a lot of water here. And it was really interesting to me. I hadn't traveled much when I was when I was a little kid. I didn't travel at all except up and down New York. But you know, I started traveling at some point in my life, and when I started to write about water, one of the things that I noticed is that where your water is on the land where you live or in the city where you live, where your source of water is coming from, oftentimes actually creates a particular personality in a city. So like I grew up in Brooklyn and then I lived in San Francisco, and the energy was so effervescent, you know, in both places. But in Santa Fe, there's actually a lot of water, but it's really, really deep in the earth. And everything has to learn how to grow really deep. The juniper trees that are on my property, they'll grow their roots 30 feet deep into the earth to get water, which is amazing. So when people come to Santa Fe, one of the things that they love about Santa Fe is that there's this quiet stillness here that forces people to go very deep. And so one of the journeys I tell, we're not going to do this today, but this is just a suggestion for you to try, is to journey or to go out and reflect on the major water sources where you live and major water sources where you travel. And notice if you notice the personality of the place happens to be in alignment with the kind of water that you have, whether it's the great ocean and everybody's loud and effervescent all the time, or in a meditative state, or what it's like. I've been doing this exercise in my workshop for 20 years, and it's amazing how people really get. Isis told me, actually, Isis was the one who's inspired me around this, because I was going to bring a group to Egypt in the 1990s, and I wasn't sure if I should go. And Isis, her whole answer to me was, the power of the land is the water that runs through it. The power of the land is the water that runs through it. And I saw that as the Nile, and I saw that as a yes to bring a group, which I did. But then I started to look at what was the power of different lands where I traveled because of the water that runs through it. So I just want to share that with you because it's kind of interesting. And water really is life. I mean, there's nothing on this planet that lives without water. And water is actually a real reflector of our soul too. It really reflects back to us our own emotional state of consciousness. And water is an element that gives us life. And I'll share this a little bit more with you later. If you want a big challenge, focus on water as you pee in it. Focus on water as you wash your dishes in it. Focus on water as you shower in it. You're peeing, washing your dishes, and showering in a sentient being. And things change when you build up a relationship with it.
That's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know why I brought this up because it wasn't where I thought I was going, but when I did my Humbleche, which is a vision quest, I don't know, 20 years ago, I was I was up on the mountain, 3 days, 3 nights with no water. And by the third day, I don't know, I got my menstruation cycle. And so I thought like, well, they told me I can't hold my pipe and, I shouldn't be here. This, like, somehow that was really not sacred, but that's another story for a different day. But so I decided to walk down to the camp. So I took a wrong turn and I walked like 9 miles out of the way. And after not having water for several days, and I just remember that, you're up there, you're thinking you're going to get some huge vision. And I did get something that I'm really working with now in my writing, but I got in front of the spigot. I found out I got to some campsite and I was down on my knees in front of the spigot, and you'd think that I hadn't, that I was going to guzzle it down the water. But what happened instead was something very different and unexpected, was that there was a reverence for water that I never had before. Mm-hmm. So instead of, guzzling a gallon, I took and I wet my bandana and I moistened my lips. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was shortly after that I had that reverence in that moment with the spigot that I then proceeded to drink a gallon of water. But in that moment, it was like, you don't know water. You don't know life this way. And it changed forever. And now, and I don't know what that is, but every morning I drink a blessed glass of water when I get up in the morning. It's the first thing I do, because I know my body's 80% water or whatever that percentage is. And we sweat it out and we need it again. And it's like what Sandra just said, the one thing we really can't live without.
Yeah, and water is just such an amazing being, and it holds so much energy. And as Renee was saying, she drinks a glass of blessed water. You can hold water, a glass of water, and we've done some shows already where we've had you go within and experience your own spiritual light and radiate that out. You can radiate that out to your water and drink. You end up drinking holy water. You can actually keep that holy water going forever by taking a small amount and putting it in a gallon of water, and it empowers the whole entire gallon, so you never run out. And a wonderful thing I have people do on my newsletter from time to time is where we all do a ceremony in our home where we go into a transfigured state, as we've done on many of our shows, experiencing our light flowing through us. And they let it flow into the water, and then they bring that water to a river or a lake or an ocean or a pond where they live. And so, when we do this, it's thousands of people around the world, because my newsletter's translated into 13 languages. And so we have people from all around the world blessing water. And yes, it makes a difference. Yes, it makes a difference to do this, because it goes back to honor and respect of a sentient being that gives us life. And when you do that, there's kindness that is in return. And I talked about this on the last clip, but I don't know if you listened.
Wealth of information if you listen.
Yes, so I'll just repeat it again. There are a few different stories out of the Navajo reservation. There's one I love in particular, because I saw the YouTube video of it, of a beautiful woman who is in love with water. And this is where we want to get with all the elements, not where we love, but we're in love. And there was a storm coming into her community, and there was going to be a big flood that was going to cause a lot of destruction. And she just sang to the water and talked to the water and asked it if it would just move around the houses and not take them out, which it did. And we're trying to present this material to you as if we get in love with the elements and let the elements get in love with us, then we're going to have environmental climatic changes happening, because that's part of nature and is natural. But what about the ones where we're having a lot of climatic changes just because human beings are dishonoring the elements so much, and they're trying to give us a wake-up call because they give us life. There is no life without earth, air, water, and fire, and they give us life, and we dump pollutants in them in return. That's what we give them. And so what would happen if that changed? What would happen if we gave them love and they gave us love in return? That's kind of what we're looking at in these shows.
Absolutely. I'm very fortunate in my life that I have a cabin that I get to go up to that's, right on the Saratoga Passage, and that I get fed that water, that it just, the energy of the water feeds me. And it seems to be where I write. Well, I guess I write pretty good here too, but it feeds that. But then I'll get back to the dry, parched desert, and I'll go out under the night sky and put my feet on the earth, and it's like, oh, I'm home. It's like, I guess I need them both. And I was thinking, I don't have any water in my chart. And then I was thinking, well, I think I have a Scorpio moon.
Oh.
And that's water, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I need both. But, I have like 5 or 6 planets in Libra, which are all winds, or air. So it's kind of not surprising I became the wind shaman of all things, but,
yeah.
But water holds it too. So
water definitely holds it too. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you, you have a great exercise for us today.
Yeah.
She's talked about 3 or 4 of them. So I'm not sure if those are any of the ones we're going to do, but I'm looking forward to it.
I just gave people suggestions of things that you can do on your own to start building more and more of a relationship, because this is something that wants to become a regular part of your life, a daily part of your life. Talking to water as you wash the dishes, feeling your feet connecting to the heartbeat of the earth that's billions of years old, feeling the wind on your cheek that's billions of years old, absorbing the power of the sun. This is what you want to do every single day. So I like to do what I call merging journeys with water. And I like to do merging journeys. You could do merging journeys with all the elements. And you can do merging journeys with about anything. You can merge with a rock, you can merge with a tree, you can merge with a plant. And the reason I love merging journeys, it's because it's about learning about a nature being by becoming it. So instead of going to a body of water and sitting and talking to it and introducing yourself, you're actually becoming that water. And there's great learning in that. And so it's all about intention. You don't need any experience with shamanism to do this. I'll give you a couple of ideas. One idea is to merge with the source of the water where you get water at your home, because that's going to put you in big relationship with the water at your home. You could merge with the mighty ocean. You can merge with a lake, a river, a stream. You can merge with a teardrop coming down your eye. You can merge with the mist on a flower. You can merge with a little drizzle. You can merge with a pouring rain, and learn about water by becoming water. Just be careful not to project your human emotions on water, because water doesn't have the emotions that we do. So again, this is all intention, and you're going to close your eyes And you're going to imagine yourself walking out of your house to be in a place of nature where you can merge with water. And when you come up to the water, say, may I step into your field of energy and may I merge with you. And when you hear the change in drumbeat, with your intention, just disconnect from the water and return back to your room again, retracing your steps. And so this will be a short journey that you'll be able to continue on your own at another time, but it gives you the idea. So here we go. Welcome back, everybody. So I always tell people, I think it's really important after a journey like this, once our show is over, to go and drink a glass of water, wash your hands in water, pee in water, build a stronger relationship with this sentient being called water, and have conversations with it when you wash dishes, and give it appreciation and emanate love to it and absorb the love that it's emanating back to you.
That was great. I was surprised where I went. I went out the front door, and the next thing I know, I was in the fountain, you know, that all the birds drink in and all they wash it. And it was like, what an interesting place to be part of that whole thing. But and as soon as you said we were done, I was like booted out from the fountain. I was looking at the birds from afar, and I was like pulled back in here to my seat in my podcasting seat. That was fun.
Yeah, I like that journey. I suggest it to people when they're in a panic, when they need to calm down, when they're feeling overwhelmed. I mean, it's a great journey to keep building up a relationship with water. Please keep doing it. Please keep building up a relationship with water. It gives you life. You are water. You can merge with the waters inside your body and look at your state of health. But you can also use this journey when you're just really stressed and you need the love and the nurturance of water, which is always there for you.
It reminds me of a journey that I have, that somewhere I have, I don't, it's even recorded. Maybe I'll find it and put it on the page with this for this, where you actually bring up water from the earth, like standing and bring it up through your feet and use your body as a straw, and you use it to clear you and keep clearing you. And I think I've told you about those ancient feet I've been given that were, and then they taught me this water clearing exercise. So I'll have to dig that out and add it in here. We'll have to do that one week.
That's a great exercise. I mean, that's a great exercise.
I can't take any credit for it because it came to me when I needed it to. My partner was being really grumpy one day, and I started, well, can I use this to clear, with permission, somebody else? And so I'm sitting in the car, bringing the water up, clearing out their bad mood too. It worked really well.
Oh, great. Yeah.
She came back out of the post office and she was as good as new. Oh, fun.
You heard that one right here. That's another exercise to add to some of the suggestions that we gave you today, which were many. So we hope you keep up this work.
Right. And the water seems way more flowy than the earth ones, which just feel more like, I mean, just as we're going through these, because we're going to continue with the elements, I can feel like, wow, that was really dense and this is more flowy. It'll be fun to see where we go next with the air and the fire. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but something that's interesting is I do a lot of merging journeys to earth and to ice. My favorite merging journey is ice.
Oh.
It's amazing how much movement there is in frozen earth and ice. And so I tell people, when you do merging journeys, one of the big takeaways is that the elements are always in movement. And
we'll have to go there.
Should you be for your health and well-being?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, this is going to be fun conversation. So tell us, why don't you come over to the Shamans Cave and tell us what element you resonate more with and why? That would be fun to know a little bit, and, what exercises you use even to share with us. That will be fun. And join us over at Shamans TV. And if you want to be subscribed, just subscribe. And we use that only for this podcast. Although I do think that one time it did get used inadvertently, but we use this only for this podcast. So if you're on this list, that's what this is for.
Right. Yeah. And tell your friends about Shamans TV, because we're getting such wonderful feedback from people about how this is helping. Bring your community in and tell them about us too. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you, everyone at home.